My name is Nissa. This year I turned 16. I'm the oldest of two. My little sister's name is Dita. We are only 2 years apart. Dita turned 14 last month. Remembering Dita always made me jealous. Beautiful Dita. As a teenager, she was seen as the perfect girl from head to toe. Dita had long black hair. Her skin was ivory white and as soft as satin. Looking at her face, the shape of her eyes, nose, lips, everything was almost perfect. There were no defective lines. Besides being physically perfect, Dita was also a smart girl. At school, she always ranked in the top 3. Dita was truly the pride of our parents. The opposite of me. There was nothing to be proud of, not from a physical or any aspect. But I'm still thankful that God still gives me the gift of life. I was combing my curly and unruly hair when I saw the reflection of my mom's beautiful face on the mirror of the dressing table. That face smiled at me. Instantly, I stopped what I was doing and turned towards her. Then I replied to Mom's smile with the sweetest smile I had. "Can I come in?" "That's Mom." She always asked if she wanted to go into her children's rooms. Mom really honored our privacy. I answered her question with a nod. Mom came in and approached me. Then she stood behind me. "May I help you?" Mom said while taking the comb in my hand. I again answered with just a short nod. Slowly and carefully, Mom combed my hair while occasionally rubbing my head. I always felt comfortable in this situation. Mom's soft and warm hands have always been the driving force and encouragement of my life. When I was alone with her, it felt like I didn't need anyone else. I wanted to always be this way. "I'm going to go to the store. Is there anything you need?" Mom asked again. I thought for a moment, what would I like to buy? It felt like all my needs had been fulfilled by Mom, and I didn't want anything either. Oh, I just remembered, my black paint ran out. Even though I had to finish my painting, the painting that I was going to make as a birthday present for my dad next week. "Just paint, the black one," I said simply. Mom smiled at me through the mirror. "All done," Mom said while stroking my hair, which was tied neatly on top of my head. "I'm heading out now. If you need anything, you can ask the maid for help," Mom said. Again, I answered with a nod. Mom left my room. I gazed at the reflection of her back from the mirror until it disappeared behind the closed door. I then went to the corner of my room. There was a canvas covered in white cloth. I uncovered it, and there was a half-finished painting. I took a color palette and a brush. As I was mixing the paint, once in a while my eyes turned toward the painting, guessing what color I needed to make the painting perfect. I slowly etched the tip of the brush on my painting. On the half-finished painting, there was a figure of a man whose hugs and affections I have longed for. A man I called Dad. Remembering Dad made my concentration scattered. My hands hung in the air. I stopped painting. I put the brush and color palette on the table beside the canvas. My vision blurred when I looked back at the painting in front of me. Suddenly, a teardrop rolled down my cheek. I wish he wanted to see me just a little. I wish he wanted to call my name. I wish he wanted to hug me. Maybe I would feel like the happiest person in the world. I didn't remember the last time he did all that for me. Maybe he felt I was dead to him. Dad's daughter was only Dita. Always only Dita. One day, I heard Dad shouted to Mom, "I'm ashamed to have a handicapped child. It's better if that child..." Before he finished screaming, I heard Mom shrieking with sobs. I didn't dare to hear the rest of it. But I could not do anything. All I could do was to cover my ears with a pillow. That's how I was. I was born not as perfect as Dita. My legs were not functioning properly, so I had to spend my whole life in a wheelchair. If I had legs like Dita, or like other children, I wanted to run, dance, and jump. I was sure it would be very enjoyable. Knock, knock, knock. The sound of knocking on the door burst my thoughts. I wiped my tears quickly. I didn't want others to know that I had been crying. "Miss Nissa, here is breakfast for you." The voice of the maid with a heavy accent was heard behind the door. "Yes, just come in," I said, pulling the cloth over the canvas in front of me. Mrs. Ingrid, who has worked for 20 years in our family, came in carrying a tray containing a plate of rice along with side dishes and a glass of milk. Put it on the table, please, I said. Why don't you eat it right now, miss? I'll eat it later. I'm not hungry yet, I answered. Oh, okay. You can eat it later if you get hungry, she said. And if you need anything, just call me, she said again. The same message that Mom told me. Everyone seemed unsure if I could do anything by myself. The day I was waiting for arrived. Since morning, Mom and Mrs. Ingrid have been busy in the kitchen preparing food for the party tonight. Even though Dad's birthday party was not going to be a big event because only family and a few relatives had been invited, Mom still prepared a lot of food. Just in case more people come than those invited, said Mom. I wrapped the painting I had made in brown paper. Later, I would ask Mrs. Ingrid to help me put it in the living room, the place where the event would take place. As usual, like in previous years, I never attended my dad's birthday. I didn't want Dad to be ashamed of my existence. I don't want to see people staring at me with pity. Usually, I would peek through the door of my room when I heard people singing happy birthday, and I would recite a prayer when Dad made a wish before blowing the candle. I always prayed for his health, safety, and happiness. I also sighed my special prayer. I want you to love me like you love Dita. And it seemed like today would go like that too. The difference was now I had a special gift for Dad. The clock that hung nicely on the wall of my room was showing 19:30. I poked my head through the door. I saw the guests already started coming. The program would start soon. But where are Mom and Mrs. Ingrid? I haven't seen them for a while, and they didn't come to my room either. Have they forgotten me? I glanced at my wrapped gift leaning against the wall. Do I have to deliver it for Dad? Various questions flashed in my brain. Don't! Later your father will be angry with you, my heart said. All right, I'd wait a little longer. Seconds after seconds passed, but there was still no sign of anyone coming to my room. I peeked back from my door. Everyone turned out to have gathered in the living room because the main event was about to begin. Suddenly, Mrs. Ingrid's shadow flashed. I immediately called her. Mrs. She did not hear my call, maybe because of the noise in the living room. Finally, I decided to leave the room to go after her in the kitchen. Before leaving, I reached for the painting wrapped in brown paper that was leaning against the wall. With a lot of effort, I rolled the wheelchair with my free hand. Quite difficult indeed, because I had to drag a fairly large painting. Hey, Miss and Nissa, where are you going? Mrs. Ingrid appeared behind me. I wanted to follow you, to ask you to please give this painting to Dad, I replied. Why don't you give it to him directly? She asked. I felt bitter hearing her question. How could I hand this over to Dad? I did not want him to be embarrassed, angry, or even worse. I shuddered to imagine what would happen if I appeared in the middle of the crowd. No, please give this to Dad, please, I said. Then I was silent for a few moments. Yes, okay, miss, let me give it to him, Mrs. Ingrid said finally. She took the painting from my hand and took it to the living room. I peeked at what happened as she handed the painting over to Dad. Dad looked confused. He glanced in the direction where I was hiding. I pulled myself further behind the back wall of the living room. The main event began. As usual, the song Happy Birthday was being sung. Then the candle blowing event. Dad paused for a moment before blowing out the candle with the number 45. I didn't know what he was asking for in his silence. Then he blew out the other candles, helped by Mom and Dita, who were next to him. They looked so happy. Suddenly, tears were streaming down my cheeks. I cried, whether from happiness or sadness. It was time for the gift opening event. The gifts that would be opened were gifts from the closest people. Grandma bought Dad a beautiful, luxurious pen worth millions. Mom gave him a watch. Dita gave him a maroon tie, and the time came when my brown paper-wrapped gift was opened. What would be his reaction? Dad tore the brown wrapper. All eyes were on the present that he's opening. They wondered what was inside the cover. When the entire cover had been removed, it appeared that Dad was holding a painting. He was silent for a long time looking at the painting. Mom, who was standing next to him, joined in silence as he looked at the painting. The painting was very beautiful and looked real. That painting was a picture of our family, our whole family. There were Dad, Mom, Dita, and me. In the painting, Daddy was hugging us, his little family. Nissa. Quietly, Dad called my name. I could no longer watch. Tears scrambled to come out of their hiding place. I pushed my wheelchair towards my room. Coming into my room and after locking the door, I let go of my tears as much as I could, even in silence. I shed all the tears that had been held back. I cried and continued to cry until my chest felt a little relieved. Knock, knock. Someone was knocking on my door, and from behind that door, a voice called for me. Nissa, open the door, girl. It was a voice I hadn't heard calling my name in a long time. Nissa, open the door. Forgive me. That's right. That's really Dad's voice. I hurriedly unlocked the door. Dad pushed open the door to my room, and he immediately hugged me. Dad hugged me. This wasn't a dream, right? Mom then also hugged me. Dita, who did not want to be left out, joined in the warmth of the embrace. This is my dream, I whispered. My dream has finally come true.